morning, good afternoon, good evening. On the screen, there is the deed of transfer. The other day, Mnangagwa officiated at a ceremony where about 1,000 farmers in Mazoe area were given title deeds to the farms. Most of those are what we call A1 farms, not really big farms, small farms. What is interesting here is that whoever was the recipient of that title, he actually posted it on the social media with the caption, "This will take Zimbabwe's economy to new levels." I couldn't agree with him more. But this immediately raises a number of questions. Why is it that only maybe 10 to 20% at most, and most of them will be the ruling elite, will ever get title deeds to any farms of any significant size? And why has it taken 45 years to give these people title deeds? Particularly if everyone agrees that giving these people title deeds would take the Zimbabwe's economy to a new level. So we have waited nearly half a century for this to happen. Why? And most worrying of all is that the regime still continues to deny title deeds to the vast majority of our people in the rural areas particularly. Many Zimbabweans have found themselves caught up in this nightmare where they thought they'd got the land, they owned the land, and they went ahead and built a decent house for themselves. Some of them in the urban centers, some of them in the so-called growth points. And some of them would have lived in those homes for 20 years or so, only for the regime to turn around and demolish those houses, claiming that they were built without permission. The people did not own the land. It is now a well-known fact that in Zimbabwe, all land belongs to the president. So we are now a nation where the vast majority of the people are no more than just medieval serfs, were not entitled to own even 1 acre of land. This is all, of course, for selfish political reasons. ZANU-PF has denied people the right to own land. It has carried on the system that it inherited from the whites, where the majority of the people live in what we call tribal trust lands. The land is held in trust. The chief doesn't own it, he just holds it in trust. And for the individual, no chance. Ian Smith refused to give people title deeds. His argument was simple. If you economically empower these people, the next thing they would want is the right to vote, political rights. And Mugabe inherited the same system. He has to deny the people the right to own any land in the rural areas for the same political reasons. Here is Margaret Dongo, herself a liberation war fighter, a SANU-PF member of parliament, and then became an independent member of parliament in her own right, speaking on the issue of why the rural people are poor.
They have wrong priorities, especially the current government. How can you go and build an airport which services a few people, and the majority are the elite and the so-called investors? Look at the rural. I made you come to interview me because I wanted you to have the experience of the roads that we are using. If we go today to our hospital there, you feel pity with that's a hospital in a rural area. If we go to our clinic, you feel pity. We have no piped water here. Do you know the reason why the rural people vote for ZANU-PF? One, they're intimidated. Two, the policy is that the rural people should remain poor and subservient to the government. They should remain poor because if they remain poor, they continue singing the song for their master. This is why these people have been impoverished. It's for a reason. Because at the moment, if you economically empower these people, they'll go out of hand. ZANU-PF will never have control over them.
That is the tragic truth that we are dealing with here. The right to own, to have title deeds to even a few acres of land is the one fundamental right that the people in the rural areas would appreciate the most. It would economically empower them and ultimately politically empower them. And that is the reason why ZANU-PF is denying them land title deeds to any land in the rural areas. As a nation, we are being forced to live with only about 20% of the ruling elite who are true citizens. And the majority of our people, 60% or so, who live in the rural areas in particular, are condemned to live as serfs, economically powerless and politically powerless too. That is the tragedy of Zimbabwe.